Welcome to Blue Compass, where we are discussing what Google responsive search ads mean for your organization. Now, Google seems to be moving away from their traditional expanded text ads to these new responsive search ads, or RSAs. And so we have two of our team members here today, Katrina Rieger, our digital marketing manager, and Jay Snyder, one of our digital marketing strategists, and they're going to give us some insights into what this all means. So Katrina, I just wanted to start out. Can you tell us, what are these expanded text ads? I mean, can you describe what those are to us first?
Absolutely. Expanded text ads are Google's current form when you're creating a search ad. And it includes 3 headlines. You can upload up to 3 headlines, and you can put 2 full descriptions in there. So it's a little bit expanded from the old format, which was only 2 headlines and 1 description. So they gave us more real estate with that, and then they gave you more opportunities for keywords and a better quality score by using the additional fields that they provided in that expanded text ad.
Yep. So these are generally the ads we're all used to seeing.
Yep.
And now, Jay, what are responsive search ads? What's the difference here?
From the user perspective, responsive search ads are exactly the same. It's headlines and descriptions in response to a specific query that somebody puts in. Where it differs is on the marketer's side, where instead of saying, this is headline 1, this is headline 2, this is exactly the order they're going to show up in, instead we give them a bucket of headlines and descriptions, and Google then assembles and optimizes based on those headlines in response to those queries, hence the responsive search ads.
Sure. So it sounds like it's generally a little more automated than we've been working with traditionally.
Yeah, there is a little more automation for sure, and it's a trend that we've seen across the board when it comes to Google as far as automation goes. There's also a data aspect to it that I believe is a key reason why they're moving in that direction.
Sure. Now, it seems like Google is really pushing these RSAs. And is Google indeed moving away from the traditional expanded text ads?
Very much so. We see Google placing a high priority from an impressions perspective. We're running both expanded text ads and responsive search ads in quite a few of our campaigns right now. And we see responsive search ads taking all of the impression share. Even if we're using the same content from the expanded text ads, Google's placing a high priority on those.
So greatly favoring them right now.
Absolutely.
And it's almost immediate. The moment you introduce an RSA to any campaign, it drops. It overtakes approximately 90% of the impressions almost instantly. Wow. So I think there's multiple factors in that, but the key one is it goes back to the data point before with RSAs. Yeah. You're giving Google more options and more headlines, therefore it's going to be able to deliver your ad more often if it has that choice. And there's more likelihood that a headline might match up with the query, since we are giving them 15 of them at a max.
Sure. So it sounds like these might be a good thing, but as digital marketers, do you guys feel like this is a good move that Google's kind of forcing us all into these now?
We, as marketers at Blue Compass, we really try to take as much control away from Google as we can traditionally. We see them doing things to get more money for them. They're a business. They're always trying to improve their bottom line. And traditionally, we've seen that not work out in the favor of us or our clients. So we were really hesitant when this started. We did a lot of A/B testing against expanded text ads. We felt we know what our client's message was more, and we liked that control. But as we've started to move into the responsive search ads, we've been able to find ways to still remain and retain some of that control while feeding into the methodology that Google wants. So you have up to 15 headlines in a responsive search ad and 4 descriptions in your responsive search ad. And what we like to do is make things that are similar enough that we can still maintain the control we want, but Google feels it has the keywords available to them to make their optimal choice.
Sure. Yeah, it seems like over the years, Google is more and more interested in automating things and taking that control, I guess in the name of convenience, supposedly, away from marketers and away from businesses, so they can do some of the work themselves. And I think that sounds good because it's like, okay, it's going to save you time. Maybe you're a business owner, you don't have time, or maybe even the expertise to put these ads together. But, like you said, when Google takes control away, it does enable them sometimes to inflate the budget a bit, make other decisions. And so we're always big believers in letting someone who's a real expert in this do it, because we always see an expert have better results than Google.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I will say, so as we're talking about control, I think Google's also felt that negative pushback from marketers as far as you're taking everything away, you're making it much more challenging for us to have that granular level of advanced improvement for these types of campaigns. So one thing they have implemented to reintroduce some of that control is pinning. So you're able to, similar to expanded text ads, pin certain headlines to position 1 or position 2 or position 3. That way you're assured of what order they're going to show up in, but you still don't have the 100% assurance that that's the exact ad that everybody's going to see every single time. So there's definitely a compromise that's come along with it for sure.
And that pinning functionality has definitely increased our confidence and our ability to run these ads for more complicated clients. So any client of ours that has compliance and heavy regulations, we had a hard time moving to responsive search ads for a while because their legal teams would tell us something along the lines of, if we can't guarantee that our brand name shows up in this place, we can't run the ad. But that pinned functionality helps us quite a bit with those heavily regulated industries as well.
Sure.
And there is a trade-off with the pinning as a part of this conversation. So Google is incentivizing you to do what they want you to do, and automation is a key part of that. So they have the pinning functionality available, but what we've seen is that once you do pin a headline or a description to a specific position, it drastically decreases the impressions that you can get and thereby the clicks that you're going to get in performance. So there are some situations when it's 100% necessary, compliance or legal, those types of situations. But as a general rule, your performance is going to be stronger if you don't introduce that pinning functionality.
Yeah.
It's all about control.
Right. It's interesting. Well, and Katrina, I like the point that you bring up. And a lot of times businesses or marketers will get frustrated and wonder, why did Google make this decision? This makes things worse, or it makes it more confusing. But Google is a business, and they do have to please their shareholders. They do have to be more profitable. And that's one of the reasons they make moves like this. It might be good in some ways. It might be a little more convenient for some types of users, but ultimately they need to increase the bottom line. And so that's something we always try to keep in mind. Now, if someone is running just Google ads right now, maybe they've run them for years, for their business, for their organization, what should they do with this new push towards responsive search ads? Is it okay to just let things run, or do people need to get in and switch over?
First off, I would say you're not alone if you haven't played around with responsive search ads. As of a study a few months ago, 17% of Google Ads accounts had no responsive search ads implemented at the moment. So you're not alone, but we would encourage anybody who hasn't to get started earlier rather than later. As of July 1st, expanded text ads will no longer be able to be created or to be edited at that point in time. So you want to have as much data as possible before that date so you can make strong optimizations and good decisions with a decent amount of data, and not be totally sideswiped by losing your expanded text ads that you've had historically.
We recommend clients take some of their best performing expanded text ads and turn those into their responsive ads. So previously, our best practices were that we would upload a minimum of 3 ads into an ad group. And we would use the full expanded text ad format, but now we only need to upload a single ad when we get started. You can upload more still. We usually still upload 2 to 3. But now that we're including up to 15 headlines and 3 descriptions, Google's able to make a ton more ad options from that single ad. So we usually like to upload a max of 12 headlines, and that gives us room to optimize. We have 3 more that we can play with while we're watching things on a weekly basis. And that's our best practice right now and what we've seen perform best for us.
Another key aspect from a timing standpoint with responsive search ads is the learning phase that's involved. When you introduce automation and optimizations on the machine learning side, it takes time to figure out what's working. And what Google has given us is a 3-week window from when you implement the ads to when it is 100% confident in its decision on which order the headline should be in for a given set of queries. So if you are making changes, or if you're thinking about working with responsive search ads, giving yourself that 3-week window to really see what has Google decided on or landed on with these ads.
This is a space where you can make changes too fast and negatively impact your campaign. You should still be watching keywords. You should still be optimizing your negative keyword list, watching your match types, all of that. But we don't like to edit the ads in those first couple weeks because there is so much AI occurring in the background.
Sure. I think that's generally a principle just overall with digital marketing that we experience is, never just set something and let it run and don't look at the analytics and don't check in. And it's certainly the same with these, the more active you are, the smarter you are about continually updating and watching how pretty much any digital marketing function performs, whether it's SEO or SEM or a Facebook campaign. I mean, the better it will do ultimately. Well, guys, thank you for your expertise. That was awesome. And if we can help you with any of your SEM, with your Google ads, with these responsive search ads, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We'd love to give you a hand. Thanks, and we'll talk to you